Coach, the relationship between NECA and Skylar, they joke about that it goes all the way back to when they were teenagers, and I think they're born a month apart. Are there times out there when, even though they haven't played together most of their careers, it almost seems a little bit like they can read each other's minds, and just what's it been like for you watching the two of them play together?
Well, yeah, it does feel like that. They have a deep connection that really no one understands or knew about prior to them coming to Seattle. Um, and it's verbal, it's nonverbal. They are able to. They're both very intellectual, cerebral beings. They both love what they do, and they love that they're able to do it together. And so on the court, the chemistry, the connectivity that they have, the synergy that you see is kind of synonymous with their relationship off the court. They trust one another. They're each other's confidants, and on the court, it's the discipline that they have is a part of that is their preparation. They work extremely hard. It's like an iron sharpens iron situation. NECA's NECA and Sky are in the facility early, doing their Pilates and all of these things that you have to do to be an elite athlete. From the way that they, eat and take care of their bodies off the court, like they are really special beings, and the connection that they have is second to none. Super, super happy to be a part of it.
Noe, on that note, we've been talking with Becky over the last month or so
Mm-hmm.
with how this team is different than the championship teams based on what they went through their first 28 games, overcoming adversity. And it could be stronger because of the bonds that they've created within.
Mm-hmm.
For your team and this organization, it's overcome a lot of adversity on and off the court, in the locker room,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of outside noise. How proud of you are you of what this team has done, the players themselves, and you sit back and watch to be able to sort of withstand, that outside noise and the losses that came with it, and then find your way in the playoffs with the veteran squad that you have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm super proud of the team. Throughout the stretch, the connectivity in the locker room never wavered, and that's something that um, we didn't have in the past. And I think, you want that for them to happen on the court because they're so positive, they're so into it, they want it for each other. And the resiliency that we've showed, whether it's, in tough games, in tight games, on the road, wherever it's at, getting us into this position is a testament to their will, their strength, um, their attitude, and to not say die. We bend a little bit, but we didn't break. We're not going to break. And that's the leadership that's in the locker room. Again, there's the commitment to what we talked about on day one, the culture, being bought in, no matter how it feels. Through the adversity, we talked about it as a group, and they knew there was going to be a turning point. Storms are temporary, and so that's what we kept talking about through that time. And now we're here, new season 0-0, and want to put all that information together into today, and hopefully have a good product.
All right, we're going to take a couple questions from Zoom. Jeff Brown, go ahead.
Yeah, coach. Just obviously looking at this matchup, Vegas is the favorites. They're at home and everything. But, they're riding that 16 game winning streak. But like, can you say that maybe there could be a benefit to not having as much pressure? Like they, on paper they should win, but can you maybe talk about maybe playing free and how that can benefit your team?
We played well on the road. We've matched up with Vegas historically, often, so we're very familiar with what happens in this environment. And it is a 0-0. Let the best team win, and it is about just the preparation, the mentality, and all those things, and that's going to be the focus.
Caius, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. When we spoke a while ago about the offense, you mentioned Skylar seeing more bigger assignments, more wings defending her, and things like that. I guess my question for you is how important is it for you to kind of manipulate matchups to kind of talk, flip those before we're getting into actions, or is it more just about executing no matter who's guarding her?
A little bit of both. couple of things that come into play. Jackie's going to be on her. Some blitzes with her in Asia, some very aggressive coverages. Try to kind of get her off the ball a little bit, and so she's not constantly having to fight a double team or an aggressive coverage. The other part of that is, playoff basketball possession strength. So if we can attack and yes, get a matchup that is conducive to her ball screens being a little less aggressive, that is the mentality. But prior to that, I think for us, it's about Sky playing a little bit more in transition. When we're in our quicker actions, it's a little bit more difficult to trap in the areas of the floor for playing quick. So there's a lot has to go into, where we want her, what actions that we want. But sometimes we can't manipulate the defense in order to get those switches first. And so because of that, it is about spacing. It is about our post players being playmakers. It is about hitting shots on the backside when we do move the ball and get advantages.
Got you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Maz, go ahead.
Yes, Coach. I think you touched base on a couple of things here, Noe, the transition, all those things, but really, mental fortitude and where the team's feet are. How important are those things?
Yeah, it's very important. This is a tough environment to play in the playoffs, and the first three is going to feel loud. Asia's buckets are going to feel loud, and it could be a one possession game, and so it's important that we have our next play mentality. It's important that our mentality as a whole does not waver. There are going to be runs. We have to sustain that. We're going to have runs. They will sustain that. It's just about, again, being where our feet are and being in the present moment, not thinking about their previous play, but focusing in on what's ahead of us and doing that for the entirety of the game.
We're going to take one final question from Zoom. Bo, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, with the extra couple of days off that you had, did it change any of your prep for the playoff game today?
It was very necessary with the veteran group that we have to get some physical rest, to get some mental rest. And a lot of times with all these days as coaches, you tend to overthink. And so I wanted as a staff to really use the first couple of days to think about us and our attack, and then the last days to kind of hone in on Vegas. And because of that, I think we have some really good options, plans, A, Bs, and Cs, Ds if necessary. Just in general, just being super prepared for what we're going to see. But for us, I think it was important to get the days for our bodies and our minds and our spirits to get aligned.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.